You know what bothers me more than seeing homeless people out smoking and abusing drugs, so to speak? It's seeing people sitting up in their houses drinking and abusing coffee and other caffeine products. And then they get to have a house and sit there and pick on homeless people who are doing the same thing they are, abusing drugs. Caffeine is a drug. So the real thing that needs to happen is I don't believe in them losing their houses. I do believe in private property rights, and I don't think homeless people should have lost their house for taking a medicine that you think that you don't like, a medicine you don't like. But I do think they should crack down on the dealing side of things. They should crack down on making sure people have a license to deal and that there are safer products that people can choose to use. And if they abuse them, I don't think that's for us to decide when it's an abuse, except when they start misbehaving. If they're misbehaving, if they steal, if they kill, if they litter, if they drink and drive, or smoke and drive, those are crimes. Those are dangerous crimes. Those are reckless crimes, and we can do something about that. It's the Ten Commandments. If they're breaking a Ten Commandment, we can enforce that or put them in a rehab, usually a rehab, I think. But what the problem is, it's not that dealers are such bad people automatically because somebody works at a pharmacy and they sell Tylenol. That doesn't make them a bad person. That means that it's a safer product. It's a monitored product. It's a regulated product. And they're not price gouging. They're not extorting people. They're not stealing from their customers. They're not putting something to make them dizzy or make them forget what they did just so they can rob them, hurt them, or doing something else. And they're not imposing, even though it's a bad law, they're not imposing a medicine that's been outlawed on people, and trying to intimidate them and isolate them because of that. And so you can keep saying, well, they should follow the law anyway. Well, let's make your favorite hamburger illegal. And if you eat it, let's kick you out of house and home. That's how dumb our laws are. But let's start cracking down on dealers as far as, but make products legal in safe forms and still promote abstinence and still talk about health. It's for your health you don't abuse. If you love God, you're not going to use more than one day in a row, more than one day in a row to take a break. Proverbs 31 says, give a man strong drink on his deathbed and give a poor man wine to drown his pains and sorrows from poverty so he doesn't have to think of them anymore. It's not a sin we've created that we've made it a sin to use a medicine for those things. It doesn't say to do it every day. The Bible gives its warnings, but to hate on people who use medicine, that's a big trick. To steal private property rights is a big trick. To act like you're better than everybody else when you're the biggest hater, and that is a sin. And so that's evil. But if you don't impose pain on people by hating on everybody for such ridiculous things, as long as they're not starting fights and doing things, you still punish people for their behavior, bad behavior. I won't say punish. You haven't paid back their debt, right? So, but make sure you get the right person and all that kind of stuff. And and there's no sin against pardoning people. There's no sin against forgiving. Forgiving doesn't mean pardon, but forgive so you can assess something and be fair about it. Justice, what part of love your neighbor says not to be fair. But the point with dealers is you regulate them. Make sure they're not there to extort people. They're not there to hurt people. That they're dealing groups, and sometimes their smokers are part of the dealing groups, and they steal from people and stuff. So don't put them in situations where they have to be paranoid and try to set somebody else up to get caught or hurt, or they might want to hurt somebody because they got obnoxious and they got caught and they don't want to go to jail, so they try to hurt somebody or whatever. Love your neighbor. If it comes down to stuff like that, you just face the facts that you're caught. If you're caught, hating on people. Love your neighbor. That's a real law. The real crime is to do things against your neighbor. That's a real crime. But if you choose tea for your caffeine instead of coffee for your caffeine, that shouldn't be a crime. If you choose caffeine instead of coca leaf tea. But let me give you one little tip here. You can take 2 leaves off a coca leaf tree and put it in a glass and put water in it and drink it. It's not going to hurt you. But when they do these lines of coca stuff, that's like 1,000 leaves crushed and concentrated. And then they put it in thieves' hands. All right, I got to go.